Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, from wherever it is that you're watching me from. I trust that you're doing well and that the Lord has kept you thus this far. He has been your Ebenezer. Indeed, we thank God for the gift of life and the gift of good health, that we are here this evening. We don't take it for granted. We know it has taken His mighty hand. And so this evening, I just will show a very short word. In Numbers 23 verse 19, the Bible says in Numbers 23 verse 19, that God is not human that He should lie, not a human being that He should change His mind. Does He speak and then not act? Does He promise and not fulfill? Child of God, this evening I've just come to remind you that God is not a son of man to lie. I want to remind you this evening that it is impossible for God to lie. It is absolutely impossible for God to lie. It is impossible for God to lie. It is impossible for Him to tell you something and He does not fulfill it. He is God all by Himself. He is not a human being. He doesn't know how to make unfulfilled promises. He doesn't know how to lie. It is not in the nature of God to lie. This evening, child of God, I don't know what God has promised you. I don't know what you are expecting from God. I don't know what prophetic word you have received. But this evening I've come to remind you that it is impossible for God to lie. He doesn't speak anything He doesn't intend to do. You know, God is not a people pleaser. As human beings, by the way, we can say things that people want to hear, but we don't really necessarily intend to do them. But as for God, when He says that He will do it, He will do it. I know you've probably waited for long. It looks like the wait is never coming to an end. But tonight, child of God, I want to tell you that He is still God all by Himself. It is impossible for God to lie. It is not in the nature of God to fail. It is not his name cannot allow Him to fail. The Bible says that He promised Abraham, that he told Abraham, I will honor my word. The Bible says in the book of Jeremiah 1, I think it's 11 or 12, that I will watch over my word to perform it. When God gives you a word, it's not because He wants to hype you. No, it is not in the nature of God to hype you. He is God. He doesn't need to hype you. He is God, all He by Himself. And so this evening, child of God, I've come to tell you that if God gave you a word and it is looking like it is taking a bit long to be fulfilled, I want to assure you that the Creator of the universe is still at it. The fact that you're still alive means that there is hope for tomorrow. I don't know how long you have waited for. And for so many things we have prayed for, we have received prophetic words for, we have waited on God. And sometimes we have people who are mocking us because we are waiting on these things that don't seem like they are coming. But I want to tell you, child of God, the Bible is very clear in Numbers 23:19, one of my other favorite scriptures, that God is not a son of man to lie. He is not a human being. He doesn't know that He doesn't even know how to lie. God is faithful. He is faithful. Once He gives you a word, you just need to do your part and allow God do His part. Atacheza kama yeye. Mungu hawezi kakudanganya. God can never lie to you. I want to remind you that which God told you He will do, He will fulfill it. Because He's God. Because it is His nature to do it. Because He's Alpha Omega. Did you know He is Alpha Omega? Do you know what that means? He sees the end from the beginning. So there is nothing about your life that catches him off guard, that now he's there confused. He's not quite sure of whether he can fulfill what he said. That is not the nature of our God. Our God is mighty. Our God is powerful. Our God is He is God. He's Abba Father. You know, the Bible says in the book of Matthew, I think it's Matthew 6:35. I'm not very sure. The Bible says that Jesus was asking his disciples, if you can promise good things to your children, how much more your Father in heaven? Child of God, this evening, I want to tell you that he is not a liar. He has never failed. He will not start with you. He has never failed. Until now, God has sat in heaven when your plans are failed, that he's also part of the failure. That's not God. I want to tell you, he still has you in mind. Tomorrow will be better for all of us because God is still on his throne. God bless you. Good night. Baraka.